Hi everyone, it's Natalie and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a book haul. Finally, at last, I'm returning to book hauls. Last year, I gave up halfway through because I basically didn't do a good schedule, a good filming schedule, and so I kept forgetting to film a book haul. And by the time that I would film it and it would go up, it would be ridiculous to call it like an August book haul or whatever because it was so behind that I was just like, does anyone even care at this point? Do they even care? So this year, I'm trying to be a little bit more organized and I'm hoping to do a bi-monthly book haul and to actually, maintain a filming schedule that makes sense so that I can film on time and so it can go up on time and it's not centuries behind. So yeah, that's what we're doing today. As always, I will include the books that I bought for myself, that I received as gifts, and that I received as ARCs from the publisher. I will also be including my library book haul, which for these 2 months of January and February will be quite small, but I still wanted to include them in here. Before we get started, I wanted to highlight some things that I bought from independent sellers because it felt like a nice thing to do. So first is this little soap, this little like rainbow soap. Yes, I still have it in the plastic covering because I wanted it to look nice and pretty for y'all when I showed it, because then I'm gonna start using it and it'll be too late to show you how nice and beautiful it is. So this is from Big Sky Soap, Arizona. That is an indigenous soap seller. Her store is amazing. I love everything she has in there. Honestly, if it were up to me, I would buy so much, but I really wanted this one in particular, and this one was a little bit more pricey because it has the multiple colored layers. So I was like, fine, I'll just buy this one and eventually I'll get more stuff from her store. But this smells like birthday cake. It looks like a birthday cake and I love it a lot. It's just very sweet in like the best way. I tend to not be super into very sweet scents, but this one just, it's so nice. It's so nice. I would highly recommend Big Sky Soap, Arizona. And again, this is not like a promo thing of any kind. I just wanted to hype them up because they're small independent businesses, so yeah. The other one is my friend's jewelry store. I will also be highlighting her in another video of mine that will go up later. I think it will go up later than this video. I am already so confused with my filming schedule. This is what happens when you pre-film, but I have to pre-film because if not, I would just never have anything. So anyway, right now I'm wearing these rainbow earrings that my friend made. I love them a lot. She makes small batch polymer clay earrings. So I will have both my friend's store and Big Sky Soap Arizona linked down below. I can't promise that these items will be on stock when you go to the store, but please consider supporting them. They're amazing. So yeah, let me get started with this book haul before it turns into something way too long because I keep rambling. So first up is The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet by Becky Chambers. I got the audiobook of this. I'm holding up the physical copy because I have it, but I bought the audiobook because I was participating in the Interstellar Book Club read-along for this series, and so I really needed the audiobook to actually be able to keep up with the book club picks, so that's why I got it. This is a sci-fi, not really a space opera, but it's a very character-driven sci-fi where we follow this crew on this spaceship trying to create a wormhole through space. And it's just very chill, very soothing vibes, and I love it. Also, this copy is signed and personalized. I hope it's focusing on the book since I can't see it. If I try to show my face, it tries to focus on me. So yeah, I got my hands on this eventually because I'm just that kind of reader. I love my personalized copies. Anyway, the next book I picked up was The Princess Trap by Talia Hibbert. As y'all all know, I'm a Talia Hibbert stan. I love everything Talia Hibbert writes. In January, I really wanted to pick up another Talia Hibbert book because I was just in the mood for her books, and this was beautiful, amazing, incredible. I already read it. I will be talking about it in a later video in more detail, but essentially this is a book where a prince of another country meets this woman and they start having like a thing, but she doesn't know that he's a prince, but they get caught making out by the paparazzi. And so to get the paparazzi off their back, he says the woman is his fiance, and so now they have to pretend like they're actually engaged. Again, amazing. That's all I'm gonna say about it. The next book is Lore and Lust by Carla Nicole. I got myself my own copy of this book because I originally read it with Kindle Unlimited. I have talked about this book a few times on this channel. As I have said before, it is my vampire romance of my dreams, my queer romance. It's so fun and such a good time. It has a slow burn romance that really pays off beautifully, and yeah, loved it. You will be hearing more about this series later in this video. The next book I got was The Darkest Part of the Forest by Holly Black. I got this as a holiday gift from my dad. We celebrate Three Kings Day, which is in January, so that's how this got to me as a gift for the holidays. In this book, we basically follow two teenagers who are obsessed with this sleeping fairy in the forest, and one day the fairy finally wakes up, and it's about what happens now that he's awake, and these two siblings have been obsessed with him this whole time. That's the most I'm going to tell you. I don't really want to be super rigorous about my summaries here because I just want to talk about these books as quickly as possible. The next book I got was The Duke Who Didn't by Courtney Milan. I don't know anything about this. I got it as an ebook because it was on sale. I have heard great things about Courtney Milan, so I was just like, maybe I'll give this a shot. And I just really like the cover. I love having these Asian leads in the cover. I know that the author isn't Asian, but I was just like, the vibes though, the vibes. I need it. So that's why I picked it up. Really looking forward to reading it. Probably will later in the year. The next book I got was Taino Genealogy and Revitalization by Richard Porrata. This was another holiday gift that I received from a friend. I really want to know more about Tainos. Tainos are the indigenous people of Puerto Rico. As a Puerto Rican, I really want to know more about this, especially since we're taught in school the fallacy that Tainos died out. And so this book explores how we can still tie Taino bloodlines to our current bloodlines. So that's kind of why I really wanted to pick this up. I'm very excited to read it and see what this author has to say about this. The next book I got was Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell. My friend Anna from Books and BNs sent me this. Anna, if you're watching, again, thank you so much. Anna knows that I am trash for Rainbow Rowell. She knows that I have my issues with Rainbow Rowell, but she also knows that I'm a sucker for her. And so I have been on the fence about getting this because I was like, well, I've already read Fangirl. Do I really need to read the manga version of it? And Anna made that decision for me. She bought it for me, so I will be reading this hopefully before the year ends, and I will probably be keeping up with the series because now she gave me an excuse to continue with the manga version. So I'm trash, I know. Another book Anna also gave me was The Little Library Cookbook. This is, you know, a cookbook. It's a book of recipes. I hauled it mostly again because since it was a gift, I was like, I need to show this off. One, it's just beautiful. I really love it, and it's so like soft to the touch. I don't know, I just think it's neat. And I already tabbed it for the recipes that intrigue me, so I'm excited to try out some of the recipes here. I haven't yet because I'm lazy, but I will. I definitely will. But basically all of these recipes are inspired by food from books, so that is really cool. So yeah. The next book I got was El Amor en los Tiempos de Cólera by Gabriel García Márquez. I got this because I have Cien Años de Soledad in this edition, and I just needed them to match, okay? When I saw that they had El Amor en los Tiempos de Cólera in this edition, I was like, I need it in my hands, okay? I need it in my hands. Have I finished reading Cien Años de Soledad? No, because I'm a coward. When it comes to reading in Spanish, I am a coward. And so it takes me a long time to read in Spanish, and so I keep putting it off. But I'm like, Gabriel García Márquez is the king of magical realism, so I'm like, how can I call myself a fan of magical realism without reading such classics? I'm like, seriously, how can I? How can I? So that's why I picked this up. hopefully this year I will finally stop being a coward and actually pick up these books and finish them. The problem is not picking them up, the problem is finishing them. So let's see what happens. Can I tell you anything about this? No, it's a classic. I don't know anything about it. I don't need to know anything about it. I know that hopefully I will read it because it's so beautiful that it will convince me. The next book I got was The Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern. I got this beautiful UK edition because I love it. Like, I know I have this one and like I have that one on display because I bought it signed. It was supposed to have marbled edges. It doesn't because it turned out they couldn't figure out how to do it. It made me very sad. But anyway, I always have this one on display because it's my signed copy. I think it's signed, Waterstones edition. But my actual favorite is this one. I love the notebook look of it. I think it's just so fucking neat. It looks like a journal. I love that it has the running figure on here. The original UK cover is my favorite. So that's why I ended up getting this copy. And then look at these end papers. I needed that in my hands. And I ended up having to buy this used. That's why it's a little bit like, it's a little bit messed up at the top and at the bottom a little bit, but I don't care because honestly it's in pretty good condition considering it's used. Because what always ends up happening with me is that I see UK editions that I really want, but then I keep putting it off because I have to buy them from Book Depository and they tend to be expensive because I always want the hardback. And so I put it off and put it off and put it off, and then they're no longer in print. And so I have to buy them used like an idiot. I didn't talk about what this was about, but basically it's about this boy who finds this journal in a library that talks about his life, and so he's kind of intrigued by that, and then he finds a door to a magical realm, let's call it, and so it's about him figuring that shit out. The next book is Vengeful by V. Schwab. This is another one that I really wanted this hardcover to match my first book in the series. I wanted this to match Vicious, but again, I kept putting it off, so I had to buy it used, but it looks in amazing condition, so I'm very happy. It has like some pages in the back, but they're like blank pages, kind of messed up, but I don't care because again, they're blank pages, it's fine. So this one, again, sequel to Vicious by V. Schwab, and in it, we just follow the aftermath of the first book. In the first book, we're following two college students who are trying to gain superpowers. They're trying to become extraordinary, and they discover that to do that, you have to have a near-death experience. And so one of them ends up in prison, is it? I think he ends up in prison, and when he comes out, he's out for revenge for the other one that has been living his life as a superhero. This one follows, I think, 2 new extra characters, but I don't know much. It's chunky, which I was not expecting at all, so now I'm kind of intimidated, but at least I finally have it in my hands, so I'm one step closer to actually reading it. The next book is A Dowry of Blood by S.T. Gibson. This one I got as an ebook because I heard poly, I heard vampires, and that was everything I needed to know. I was like, that's what we're doing here? That's what's happening here. We have a Bride of Dracula thing going on, but we have multiple partners, and Dracula is still kind of a villain, but every other partner is trying to, you know, work together against Dracula. That sounds amazing. That sounds iconic. Again, I could be misinterpreting things. I'm definitely not misinterpreting the poly and the vampire shit. That's definitely what's happening here. What is less clear is how much they like Dracula or not. So very much looking forward to this because I am back on a vampire mood. I just want to read my vampire shit. So I need vampire books in my hands, and I need queer vampire books in my hands. So very excited about this. The next book I got was Their Eyes Were Watching God by Zora Neale Hurston. The icon herself, I got one of her books. It was actually a Libro FM promotion. They were offering this book for free, so I was able to get the audiobook of it. Very excited. I believe I haven't read anything by this author, and again, she's a very prolific Black author, so I'm very excited to pick up this book and see what I think about her writing and her books. As for arcs in January, the only one I got was Fat Chance Charlie Vega by Cristal Maldonado. You will already know this because I reviewed this book already on this channel. I will have the video up above in the card so you can check it out if you want to. But small preview, really loved it, gave it 5 stars. It was really fun. It's about this fat girl trying to find acceptance for her body. It's about her falling in love. It's about her dealing with her turbulent relationship with her mother. Iconic shit. As for the books I got from the library, I got Check Please by Ngozi Okazu. This is the second book, the second volume in the series. In it, we follow this vlogger who joins the ice hockey team at his college, and we just basically follow his journey, coming out, falling in love, and all that good stuff. Again, already read this. It was a good time. The second book I got from the library and the last book I got in January was Dealing in Dreams by Lilian Rivera. This is a dystopian, I would call it, novel where we follow this girl gang who is essentially trying to survive in this world and is trying to find good standing so that they can live comfortably. But it's about our main character and the leader of the gang finding out that the society she lives in isn't everything she thinks it is. And she starts learning things about her past that she thought were dead. Okay, so let's move on to the February book haul portion of this video. This video is probably going to turn out longer than I wanted it to be, which is kind of why I prefer just hauling 1 month at a time, but whatever, I guess I'll grace you with some longer videos. Anyway, the first book I got was Buffalo Soldier by Maurice Broaddus. Pretty confident I'm saying that name incorrectly, but sorry about that. Again, this is another one that I don't know much of anything about. It was a novella. It was really cheap, and I just thought it had a neat cover and it looked interesting. So I was like, I'm kind of in the vibe for like some steampunky or sci-fi stuff. Again, just the general vibes the cover was giving me. I was like, I'm interested in that, so I got it. Do I know anything? No, but I am looking forward to reading it. The next book I got was The Black Kids by Christina Hammonds Reed. This is another one that I don't know much about. I know that either Colored Pages or Hear Our Voices did a book tour for it, and so I heard about it from those tours or tour, but I don't remember what the premise is, unfortunately. But since I had heard good things, I was like, this ebook is on sale, I'm gonna get it, because again, really cheap, and I'm sure it's going to be a fantastic time. So again, really looking forward to this. Honestly, my February haul was basically like, how many books by Black authors can I buy that are cheap and that I'm genuinely interested in, even if I don't know the premise. The next book I got was Now That I've Found You by Christina Forrest. This is a contemporary romance. Once again, I don't know much about it, but look at that cover. It's really pretty. It's really cute. Since I saw it last year, I was like, I want to get my hands on that book just because it's very pretty. And I think it might be like a one-day romance. I could be completely wrong. I know that I think they're trying to find something, get something. Honestly, let me stop pretending like I know what this book is about. I don't really know. I just know it's contemporary, it has a romance, and I was like, I'm sold. That's everything I need to know. Thank you. The next book I got was The Trouble with Hating You by Sajani Patel. Probably butchering that name, and I apologize profusely. So again, here we have another book that I don't know much about, but I know that it's a romance, contemporary, it's adult. I am a romance reader. I'm a sucker for these kinds of covers, so I had to get it. I'm pretty confident it's a hate to love romance, which I'm also trash for. So again, really looking forward to this one. The next book I got was Honey Girl by Morgan Rogers. I got this book because I started my Book of the Month subscription up again. We'll see if I keep it, but I'm hoping to, especially to get some of those adult hardcovers they have. Like, I'm tired of this life of adult books costing almost $30, especially if they're hardcover. I'm sick of that life. So I'm trying to see if I can save some money with Book of the Month. So in this one, we follow this young Black woman who has recently finished her PhD. She's kind of having a midlife crisis, and so she goes to Las Vegas, ends up marrying this girl for that one night, and then they part ways. And so part of it is about the romance that develops between these two women as they reconnect after their impromptu marriage. But it's also a book that's very much about mental health. It's about our protagonist protagonist Grace figuring out that she needs help, how to get that help, and all that messy process of dealing with your trauma and your mental health issues. So yeah, I read this already, really enjoyed it. We'll be talking about it in a later video. The next book I got was Everybody Looking by Candice Elo. Again, probably saying that last name wrong. Very sorry. Again, this is another contemporary YA that I got that I have no idea what it's really about. But again, iconic cover, black author. I'm like, I just wanted as many as I could. So I got this, very excited to read it. And again, like I've said a few times, I'm someone who doesn't tend to know much about books when I get into them. I am very much a cover purchaser. I buy books because of their cover. I'm very, very sorry, but I am that vain. So I don't need to know much to get into a book. I just need to have seen the cover a few times, have heard positive things to want to get it. The next book I got was Heartbeat Braves by Pamela Sanderson. I know that Thor Wants Another Letter and another booktuber are hosting a readathon / read along for romance books written by Indigenous authors. So that's why I got this. It was on sale for $1. It's going to be the book that we read in March for that readathon / read along. So I was like, I'm there, I'm getting it. Again, do I know anything? No, I just know it's a romance and I'm looking forward to it, and I'm happy that it's by an Indigenous author. As for the arcs I got in February, I got The Mary Shelley Club by Goldie Moldavsky. I also got this arc to film a book review of it, so that will be linked up in the cards above, because by the time this video goes up, that book review will be up. So got that from the publisher as part of the Colored Pages book tour. Really had a lot of fun with it. It's basically about this teenage girl who goes through a traumatic experience, and so she really gets into horror movies to stop being afraid. And she eventually joins this club, the Mary Shelley Club, that pulls very elaborate pranks to scare people. But things kind of turn sour after a while, and so we follow her as she starts seeing that this club is not as great as she thought it was. Another arc I got was for The Vanishing by Carla Nicole. This is the sequel to Lore and Lust. I'm so fucking excited. One, look at this cover. Just take a moment. Take it in. It's just beautiful. It's just stunning. It's just stunning. The book covers for this series are just incredible, iconic, amazing. I am so looking forward to getting physical copies of these books because they're just too beautiful for me to say no. Anyway, as you can see, I'm just obsessed with covers, and I'm particularly obsessed with the covers for this series, and I'm particularly obsessed as well with the insides of this series because it's just so much trashy vampire fun that I just love, and I'm very much looking forward to the sequel. I'm terrified about what's going to happen in it. I am very, very scared that my boy Nino, who is the character on the cover, is going to vanish, and I don't want that. No, don't want it. Don't want Haru and Nino to be separated in any shape or form, okay? No, don't need it, don't want it. But anyway, I got an arc because Carla Nicole is wonderful, and she sent out arcs to her newsletter subscribers, which is very, very sweet. So now I'm trying to reconfigure my March TBR because I have a very long March TBR. I'm trying to reconfigure it so that I can read this, but I'm also going to try to read it in 2 days, between today and tomorrow, so that I don't have to fit it into March. We'll see what happens. As for the library books I got in February, the first book I got was The Voting Booth by Brandy Colbert. This is a one-day romance where we follow 2 teenagers on voting day, as one of them in particular is struggling to get his vote in because of voter suppression. Brandy Colbert is amazing. This is the second book I've read by her. Fantastic. Honestly, the woman writes shit that belongs in classrooms. Like, put that shit in classrooms. They're perfect for classroom discussion. Anyway, very happy I read that through the library. Looking forward to getting a physical copy of it eventually. The next book I got was Convenience Store Woman by Sayaka Murata. Probably butchering that name once again. I picked this up because I wanted to buddy read it with Steph from Coffee Over Apples. It was so nice to to buddy read this with her. I had a lot of fun. But anyway, in this novella, we follow this woman who works at a convenience store, and essentially she has been living her entire life trying to fit in, trying to be normal, and it's about her accepting that she doesn't have to follow society's standards. She doesn't have to behave the way other people want her to behave so that she's not seen as odd or weird or strange. Finally, the last book I got from the library was The Damned by Renee Ahdieh. You will be seeing a book review for this very, very soon. And by very soon, I probably mean sometime later this month or next month. Again, I bulk film, so that's kind of the challenge of knowing when things will be up. But you will definitely be getting a book review of this book because it sent me on a roller coaster of emotions, and I had to share that with y'all. But anyway, this is the sequel of The Beautiful. In The Beautiful, we follow our main character who has left France to escape her dark past, and while in New Orleans, she gets herself into even more trouble by associating with the Court of Lions. As she starts getting more familiar with the members of the Court of Lions, a string of murders start happening very, very close to her, and so she's trying to figure out who the culprit is. Oh my god, that was so many books. Let's not talk about it. Okay, so that's it for today's video. Thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you would like to follow me on any of my social media, I will have the links to that down below in the description. But for now, see you next time.